So, let me get this straight. So, you're telling me that a record of 13-3 isn't good enough to make the playoffs? You're telling me that if we would have been 14-2 if we would have beat the Texans, that 14-2 would have been the only way we could have gotten to the playoffs. 13-3, no. 13-3, we missed the playoffs. But 14-2, we would have been in. That just doesn't make any sense to me. How in the world does a record of 13-3 not make the playoffs? In what universe does a record of 13-3 not win the division at the least, but not make the playoffs, at least as a wild card? What kind of league are we in? What were the records of the other teams? What were the records? Were they all undefeated? Were they all 14-2, 15-1? There's no way that the league is that good 4 years in, where there's all the playoff teams have 1 or 2 losses and 13-3 is out of the playoffs. There's absolutely no way. So that's just another reason why this storyline is absolute garbage. This whole face of the franchise is possibly the worst written piece of work, I guess, I have ever been witness to. And I've seen some bad stuff, both in video games and in television and movies. I've sat through the Green Lantern movie and the most recent Fantastic Four movie. But compared to this, those things would have won like awards, because this is just mind-numbingly awful. It is unbearable to play, because no matter what you do, it's going to follow the path that it already has laid out. It's not going to adapt. I could have thrown 17 interceptions in that game, and it still would have had a positive note to it. It needs to adapt. That's what I want to play. I want to play a story mode, a face of the franchise, a career mode, where the story adapts to what you do on the field. I don't want to play a game where I could throw 5 touchdowns, we lose, and we don't make the playoffs because we're 13-3. How does that not make the playoffs? How does a 13-3 record not make the playoffs? But I'm getting off topic. This game is possibly one of the worst games I've ever played in my life. I've played some bad games, but this game is right up there with one of the worst games that I've ever had in my experience with. It is so bad. It's laughably bad. Because the defense, for one thing, just got ran all over. Like, it wasn't even a factor, the defense in that game against the Texans. They did nothing in that game. They let 41 points go by. And don't even get me started on the receiver's ability to catch the football, because there is none. There is no ability for the receivers to catch the football. I'm pretty sure, let me check just to be sure, but I am pretty sure that Michael Thomas has at least a 98, 99 catching. Where's Michael Thomas at? I am pretty sure that Michael Thomas, his catching is fantastic. He has a 99 catching, 99 catching traffic, 99 short route, 99 medium route, 99 spec catch, 98 deep route, 77 carry. This man dropped so many passes, more drop passes, Harris drop passes, Humphrey drop passes. I understand why those guys drop passes, but Michael Thomas is a 99 overall with 99 catching. And the passes I was throwing weren't horribly bad. They were in single coverage, but in single coverage, a 99 overall should be able to do that. With a 98 spec catch, of course, and a 98 catch in traffic, of course you should be able to catch one-on-one balls. It's a 50-50 ball. You should catch it. You're a 99 overall with 98 catch in traffic. There's no reason you shouldn't come down with that pass. Yes, sometimes it's Madden cheese. Sometimes the animations are stupid, the way that they jump up for the ball and the way that the safety or the corner or the linebacker or something like tackles them in a way where they drop the ball. Yes, that's very frustrating sometimes, but that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is if I throw a ball in one-on-one coverage to somebody like Michael Thomas, 98% of the time, you should come down with it. Because that's why you're a 99. Because you do that in real life. If they want this game to be realistic, then they need to make it realistic. If I throw a 50-50 ball out to Michael Thomas, he's going to come down with that 8 out of 10 times, 9 out of 10 times, 10 out of 10 times. Because he's Michael freaking Thomas. The same with DeAndre Hopkins. The same with Odell Beckham Jr. The same with whoever. Name your good wide receiver. Name him. I don't care. It's the same for everyone that are the top tier wide receivers. And yet Madden and EA want to throw that crap in there when I need to win this game. I needed to win that game for the storyline, quote unquote, to make the playoffs, even though I was 13-2, about to be 14-2, or trying to be 14-2, ending up being 13-3 and missing the playoffs. So I don't know why they think that this game was ready to be launched. Did they really think that this game was good? I don't know if they thought in their heads that this game was good, and they were like, oh, this game is the next generation. It's gonna bring all the fans back. It's gonna silence all the haters. It's gonna do all this and that and this and that. And the response they've gotten is exactly what I thought they were gonna get. But it's the complete opposite of what they thought they were going to get. They thought they were going to be praised and they were going to be cherished and cheered and supported. But if you check online, if you Google Madden 21, you get a bunch of articles that say that Madden 21 is the worst received game in the Madden franchise and the worst rated game in the Madden franchise. And it's very much deserved. It's well deserved. Because you look at the little things, and it's not just that franchise mode is the copy and paste exact same thing that it was in the past 2 or 3 Maddens. That is a whole different conversation. This conversation is about face of the franchise, and this was the game here. I want to preface this by saying this was the game mode that they championed, that they paraded around online, boasting about, saying that everybody's going to love this. This is going to change the game. This is going to make everybody come back to Madden. This game mode. And this is what we get? This is what you give us? This is what you give us, Madden. This is what you give us. A game mode where the storyline is god awful. Whoever wrote that should be fired. That's facts. Whoever came up with this storyline and wrote this story should be immediately fired. They should be embarrassed for what they came up with. And the way that they built this story is mind-numbingly hard to understand. Where's Tommy Matthews? Like, what happened to him? Did he just disappear? He's not in the league. This is the 4th year that I've been in the league. Tommy stayed 1 extra year. He stayed as a senior to be the quarterback of the USC Trojans. So then the 2nd year, he should have been in the draft or at least been signed by somebody in free agency or something. But he's not on any team, not at wide receiver, not at quarterback. Tommy Matthews is just gone from existence, wiped. It's like that didn't even matter. And now we get all of these cutscenes that don't make any sense to the way that we've played on the field. It doesn't adapt. It's gonna be it's the same cutscenes over and over again. It's just unbelievable that EA thought it was a good idea to sell this game to the public. I honestly feel bad for EA because they thought this game was good. I don't know who they have running their company and running their Madden team, but whoever's running their Madden team needs to get a reality check or fired, or he needs to do something. Or that person, I don't know if it's a girl or a guy, I don't want to assume anything, but that person needs to be fired immediately. Just because they're dumb. Not because they're not a good person or not because they don't understand. That has nothing to do with it. It's because they're dumb. They thought this was a good product to put out to their customers and their consumers. Then they're naive. They're not connected to the public in the way that they thought they were. And that goes for every little team in the Madden franchise, with the franchise team, the face of the franchise team, the ultimate team stuff, all that stuff, that it all applies. And so I'm just saying that this franchise, or this face of the franchise, is it's bad. It's bad. It's just, that's the easy way of saying it. So I don't know if this series is going to continue. I'm going to take some time. I'm going to think about it. I'm going to think about if I want to subject myself to this suffering through listening and watching and playing through this face of the franchise, or if we'll just move on, we'll just scrap this whole series and move on to something different. Because I still want to play the game. I still want to put content out for you guys. I still want to put Madden content out for you guys. I still have the Legends Fantasy Draft that's on its way. I'm still working on it. I'm getting the roster set up for that franchise. And that's going to be my main franchise once that comes out, once that starts. But I don't think I want to continue doing this. I don't think I want to continue to subject myself to this suffering, to subject myself to this mind-numbingly stupid writing that they put out. So I'm going to take some time. I'm going to think about face of the franchise. I'm going to think about what I want to do with it. And then I will let you guys know if this series is going to continue or if it's just going to get scrapped. So I know I went on a big rant there, and I've done it before, but it's just this game mode just frustrates me to no end because it just doesn't make sense. But I'm done talking about it. I said what I wanted to say. I should really just do a podcast. Do a podcast about Madden. But I'm going to end the episode here before I just completely lose my mind. So thank you guys so much for watching. Smash that like button. Join the Juice Club. And I'll see you guys in the next one, if there is one. See ya.